Okay, so next up on the case studies, we have one of our coaches, Nat. So we're going to talk about this specific to kind of what happened over the pandemic period, especially in Victoria, where we were locked down for a significant amount of time, which affected a lot of coaches and the fitness industry. So, Nat was a full-time face-to-face personal trainer, before March this year. She was doing 30 plus sessions per week. And she had 3 online clients. She was kind of getting to the point where she started to realize that she was kind of capped with time, bandwidth, and effort, and was starting to think that she needed to find a way to get into the online market just to leverage a little bit of time, still service the people that she wanted to, but she was really struggling with that before COVID hit and the gyms were shut down. So as most of you guys are aware, we were locked down for a significant period of time. And, like most coaches, like Nat was fearful, of losing all of her current clients and not being able to replace them because essentially like the main environment that we work in was closed down and it was closed everywhere. So, a lot of people were in panic stations that, their livelihood and their business and everything that they spent so much time working towards was about to, be taken away from them. So like always, we kind of identified the problems so that we could get an idea of what we needed to kind of channel our energy into and how we could fix things. So, Nat needed to move all of her face-to-face clients swiftly into an online kind of only service. There was still opportunity to generate business in lockdown, which we identified, irrespective of the overwhelm that Nat was experiencing, and she didn't really think about it. We identified that Nat needed to, just change her niche a little bit, have a think about what her ideal client was, and that the current message that Nat was sending in the online space just wasn't really fitting in alignment with the ideal client that she wanted to work with. So we needed to change those things. So again, looking at the journey to a standout PT, working with those 5 pillar methods that we have with all of our personal trainers is the mindset, the model, the service, clients, and the be great component. So we'll start with the mindset. So like everybody else that comes in, it's like the growth and ownership mindset. Nat could have easily played victim and blamed every other external circumstance for the situation and her business failing at the time. But adopting the growth and ownership mindset, we said, you got to take control of your business, and she did. So we set some new goals and set some new targets based off the landscape because things had changed significantly, and gave Nat her purpose back, which alleviated a little bit of the stress and confusion in this unprecedented time. A lot of people were just, so overwhelmed and didn't know what to do. So just setting those goals and understanding the landscape, just reverse engineering everything down to this is what we're going to do on a daily and weekly basis, really gave her a lot of purpose back, which was very, very valuable. So the next thing was the model. So we saw this as an opportunity. This pandemic, although it was unprecedented and the fitness industry was heavily affected like many other industries, there's still opportunity to be had, and people just needed to look in the right places. There were still people that really valued their health and fitness goals, even without the gym, and a lot of trainers went MIA on their clients, and even when a lot of those people were still very keen to work towards their goals. So we essentially spoke to Nat, reestablished what her ideal client was, what their problems were, what the pain points were, and kind of created a model or a service around, how to bring those people on that would, fix those problems and cater to their needs in the current landscape and into the future. So moving on to the service. So we had to kind of pivot quickly, obviously having such a short time frame, with the gyms being closed. I think we had maybe 48 hours or less than that to kind of see what we would do, with Nat's clients and obviously with our own as well. So overnight, we kind of changed things to a hybrid online training service, kind of had to think about what things we could add to Nat's service to cater to her clients at the time, what were their biggest troubles, how could we do something in a remote setting that could help fix that? Introducing things like Zoom coaching calls, group Zoom, building more community-based stuff to kind of bound everyone together as they were locked down. And just some remote PT for her clients that were used to getting that face-to-face interaction that still wanted that. And we just had to do it over a remote Zoom setting. So this kind of all happened within a 48-hour period, but Nat had all of her clients online and was servicing them towards their goals, irrespective of the fact that the whole industry kind of had to shut down. So with a new vision on her ideal client, we now had a platform here to bring on more people in the online space. So we weren't just stopping at Nat's current clientele. We were a business. We knew that there was going to be turnover. We now had to set sights on, bringing people on board. So then we kind of moved towards the clients. So an online presence was huge in a pandemic. We worked out that, there's heaps of people watching, tuning from home, on their phones, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever. Everyone was just on their phones, just absorbing content because there wasn't really much else to do. So people watching with a powerful message equals presence and authority for anybody who is in a space trying to, solve problems for people. So Nat had the model. And we identified the needs of the client. All we needed now was the right message. And we got that message right. We delivered it through multiple platforms, of social media in different formats, text, pictures, videos, blogs, stories, articles, a magnitude of content for people to absorb in many different ways that people prefer, or some people just got hooked and just absorbed everything that she was creating, which is what we kind of want. This allowed Nat to connect with her audience. She was creating good relationships with people and building a reputation as a go-to trainer in her space. All you guys really need is kind of a couple of people to really get bought into your message and what you're doing, and they'll do all the marketing for you. They'll talk to as many people as they can and bring every single person they know to you for you to help them. And that's kind of part of what Nat was doing. She was building a tribe, building a community, and it was all based on the message that she was sending. And there were so many people connecting with her. And then the client experience was so great for some of those people that they just had so much loyalty to her that they were literally bringing clients to her. And this is the perfect situation for anybody who's running any kind of business. And it all comes down to knowing who you're working with and what their pain points are, delivering your message saying, hey, I acknowledge you. I'm here to solve these for you. This obviously made the client acquisition process much easier, because most of the leads that were kind of pre-sold before even getting to the consult. So every step that we've created along the way for Nat, those people kind of knew what they were getting. They wanted it so bad. She had such a good reputation, was getting such good results that they were already in. They just wanted to talk to her and see if she had availability for them. It makes it much easier to acquire clients when they're pre-sold before you sit down with them. Most coaches hate sales, and it's like, if you do things the right way, you don't really have to sell much because you got an amazing product. Most people, you want to get it to a situation where it's an interview and you want to take them on board. And this is what was happening, with Nat. So the last thing was still to be great. Like, there were still technical components and skills that we needed to have to do, or Nat needed to have to deliver, to her clients. It was a different platform, it was a different landscape. They had different needs, and we had there were skills that Nat identified that she needed. So she still delivered home-based programs, some with no equipment, that was still kind of adhered to the principles of training. That was really, really, really important. People weren't just working out, they weren't just exercising for a period of time, they were training. And they were training to get a specific outcome, and that was getting those outcomes. She was using the resources we provided on coaching, to help diffuse a lot of stress, anxiety, and lack of motivation with her clients. Like, a lot of people were locked down. They weren't really getting out and seeing people. They were used to training in the gym, moving weight, feeling and being strong. So there was a lot of resources there to help that, motivational interviewing, reach model, all of these things that helped her, acknowledge her clients, understand where they were, but help her navigate them out of that problem to focus on what they can do now. And they're reaping the rewards of it now that we're out of lockdown. Nat's clients identified that her lifestyle management in her check-in procedure was super valuable, and it was giving them the support and accountability they needed. So a lot of people, were there for that, accountability and support. A lot of people had trainers, they'd kind of bailed on them, and Nat was providing a service that filled that gap for them, as well as providing a high quality training service. So people were really thriving off that. So looking at the key victories of Nat's period in lockdown, she went from 3 online clients to 47 with a 15 people waiting list currently, and that's growing as we speak. she's now not solely reliant on being hands-on, trading time for money as a face-to-face PT. Now she's in a position where she actually trains people because she likes it, because she wants to, not because she has to. And that's provided opportunities to work on other projects that she likes, like podcasting and educational workshops, which sit more in alignment with her 3 to 5 year goals. So as Nat said, in a year that has had so many ups and downs, so many negatives, I can honestly say 2020 has been one of the best years of my life. I am so grateful to work with a group of people invested in helping me become the best person, coach, and business owner I can. This is a tremendous story of, just how adversity can be dealt with the right system, the right method, and the right direction, and turning something that was a really, really big negative for a lot of people into a positive.